And now, here is the news. Well, the news about disability as it appeared in the papers while From the Edge was off the air. The man who gave us a mouse with an ear on its back now claims to have cured paralysed rats. Professor Charles Vacanti removed a section of their spinal cord and then gave the stricken animals artificial implants he'd grown in his laboratory. Then placed them in a bucket of water to encourage them to swim and the brain to rewire the spinal connections. However, the research has been met with scepticism from the medical world, and one cynic even suggested that
the restored rats had been propped up for the photographs.
He must have smelt a rat. Mind you, the IVF pioneer Lord Winston said the results were
truly astounding.
But then another world-renowned embryologist, Bob Edwards, claimed in July that
disabled children will be a sin.
Speaking at an international conference on fertility, he said that prenatal screening gave every parent
a moral responsibility not to give birth to disabled children.
He also looked forward to a time when every child would be
genetically acceptable.
I wonder if they're looking for a gene for the dangerous condition Doctor Playing God syndrome. Another person known for his sensitive, well-informed remarks about disability hit the headlines again. Yes, Glenn Hoddle is back. But according to the Daily Mail, this time
the boy done good.
Because 3 months after he made those remarks, Mr. Hoddle paid a visit to
a centre for the mentally and physically handicapped.
Well, Glenn might feel calmer about his karma, but it just goes to show that the press never really understood why we were so incensed in the first place if they think everything is all right now Hoddle has been photographed with a couple of disabled people. Now, when it comes to windfalls, disabled people are often left with nothing but fresh air, and it appears the proposed AA sell-off is no exception. In July, the Express reported that thousands of drivers who lease their cars through Motability and are covered by the AA have block rather than individual membership, so they don't qualify for any cash. A spokesman for Motability said that disabled drivers wanted
mobility, not windfalls.
Actually, I'd quite like both. Oh, thank you. But if this wasn't enough for the beleaguered disabled driver, the Express also confirmed what we've always suspected.
Bad guys use disabled parking.
Forensic scientists in Huddersfield have discovered that one of the best places to track down criminals is a disabled parking space. Apparently, people who park illegally are displaying their villainous tendencies and are extremely likely to be guilty of other offences. Prior to his
"That looks like an Indian put it in"
gaffe, the Duke of Edinburgh caused a right royal stir amongst the deaf community in May when
deafness quip puts Duke in hot water.
According to the Times, during a royal visit, the Duke spotted a group of hearing-impaired youngsters standing next to a Caribbean music band. Apparently, he pointed to the musicians and said,
"Deaf! If you are near there, no wonder you are deaf."
According to a palace spokesman, on this occasion too,
any remarks were not meant offensively.
Ah, well, that's okay then. Hearing loss hit the headlines again at the beginning of August because
young people face deafness epidemic.
Researchers have found that if you listen to really loud music, your hearing may be affected. Really. Next they'll be telling us that staring at the sun with the naked eye could be bad for your eyesight. But wait a minute. According to The Independent,
half of us could be short-sighted soon.
In Singapore, the problem is so acute that the Air Force has had difficulty recruiting pilots. Nobody knows the cause of the increase. Not the eclipse then, but it could be down to all the peering at small screens we do nowadays. The world is entering the next millennium.
Disabled by sadness.
According to The Independent, a report by the World Health Organization found that depression is the #1 cause of disability across the globe. And according to another story in The Independent, those who are born in winter are likely to be most affected because new research has shown that
January's child has a life of woes.
But unfortunately, this revelation came too late for couples striving for a millennium baby. And finally, I'll leave you with the cheering thought that 6 months after winning the lottery, you are likely to be no happier than
If you had been paralysed in a car crash.
Apparently, it is actually true that money can't buy you happiness. But it does mean you can park your fully accessible yacht real close.